Western world right now is waking up this morning to news of a landslide victory. I mean, this is a massive victory. In the United Kingdom's Labour Party yesterday's general election, they were swept into power. NBC reports that with some of the votes still being counted, the Labour Party has secured 412 seats in Parliament. That's well above the 326 seats needed for a majority. Meanwhile, the Conservative Party has been reduced to the lowest seat total in its very, very long history, with just 120 seats. This morning, Labour leader Keir Starmer is going to be meeting with King Charles to formally be appointed as the UK's next Prime Minister. And earlier today at a rally in London, Starmer spoke to the crowd about what's next.
Country first, party second isn't a slogan. It's the guiding principle, everything we have done and must keep on doing on the economy, on national security, on protecting our borders. The British people had to look us in the eye and see that we can serve their interests. And that work doesn't stop now. It never stops. The changes we've made are permanent, irreversible, and we must keep going. We ran as a changed Labour Party, and we will govern as a changed Labour Party.
And moments ago outside 10 Downing Street, the now outgoing Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, acknowledged defeat and apologized to the citizens of the UK. Take a look.
To the country, I would like to say first and foremost, I am sorry. I have given this job my all, but you have sent a clear signal that the government of the United Kingdom must change, and yours is the only judgment that matters. This is a difficult day, at the end of a number of difficult days. But I leave this job honoured to have been your Prime Minister. This is the best country in the world, and it is thanks entirely to you, the British people, the true source of all our achievements, our strengths, and our greatness. Thank you.
For our Trump fans out there, that is what you call, are you ready for it? You ready? Because I know we don't have it here in the United States. You have no idea what it's called. That's called a peaceful transfer of power. Actually, that's what we had in the United States of America from the late 1700s until the year 2020, when Donald Trump refused to do it. See, it's better that way. It's better that way because you actually let the voters decide. And that's what democracies, constitutional republics are all about. Well, he had a very bad day. Liz Truss, remember her? She had a terrible day too. Liz Truss actually lost her seat. Her Cabbage lost an adjoining seat, parliamentary seat nearby. All in all, bad day for Liz Truss. But to talk about that and much more, let's bring in the President Emeritus of the Council on Foreign Relations, Richard Haass, and Editor-in-Chief of The Economist, Zanny Minton-Meadows. Zanny, let me start with you, because the thing that stands out in my mind is the historic nature of this election. You know, it's not like the UK was discovered like after leisure suits hit the scene. UK's been around for a very long time. The Tories have been around for a very long time. So when you say things like this is the Tories, this is the Conservatives' worst showing ever, that's just breathtaking. Talk about it and talk about what led up to it and what it means.
So you're right. This was a really, really bad result for the Tories. It was a landslide victory for Labour. We haven't quite had all the votes counted, but I think they have 100. They have 412. The Tories are down to about 121. Their worst results. This is out of 650 seats in Parliament. I think what this really was a collective shout by the British people: we want the Tories out. People voted against the Tories much more than they did enthusiastically for Labour. If you look at what happened, Labour's overall share of the vote actually wasn't that dramatically different. But what happened? People voted tactically. People voted for the party in their constituency most likely to beat the Tories. And so this was a terrible day for the Tories. But after 14 years of Tory government, there was one clear message from Britain, which is we've had enough of these people. We want them out.
Yeah, Richard Haass, you go back, you talk about how much can change in politics, how quickly. of course, is one of the things I'm saying when Democrats are like ready to jump off a cliff. When everyone I have talked to over the past week, you know, a week is a lifetime in American politics and in British politics, said a certain British prime minister. But even 5 years ago, let's just say five years ago, when Boris Johnson ran for re-election, you remember he won in all of those Tory strongholds across the North, in all of those Labour strongholds across the North. And it looked like the Conservatives were rewriting the map, and a lot of talk about what was happening in the United States was happening there, and that it was going to change forever. 5 years later, Johnson's Tories completely wiped out.
Oh, absolutely. And it's one of the characteristics of a parliamentary system is that it's less difficult to effect wholesale change because you essentially have a single vote. You vote nationally and it has all sorts of repercussions. And as Zanny pointed out, what's so interesting about this vote is if you add up the Tories and the Farage's reform movement, the Conservative, if you count them all as Conservatives, were pretty competitive with Labour. It was really a lot of this was the characteristics of the British voting system. But your point's exactly right, Joe. And it's a little bit more difficult to bring that about here because we have all the separate elections for Congress. The other thing is where you began. I had the same reaction you did. The concession speech by the outgoing prime minister had grace notes. He was generous towards his successor. He talked about how remarkable a country Britain was as someone such as himself, given his roots in India. He talked about his daughters lighting Diwali candles at 10 Downing Street. It was a remarkably generous, gracious comment, and it was a little bit of a, to me, I actually found it poignant as an American, how we no longer have quite those grace notes, shall we say, in American politics.
You know, not only peaceful transfer of power, but how fast do they do these things? The new prime minister poised to take over. Zanny, let me ask you, we heard the new prime minister say he would be leading a changed Labour Party. What does that mean? What do we expect? What do you expect to see from this new government on issues like the economy and immigration? How big a change are Brits in for?
Well, he has, first of all, really dramatically changed the Labour Party. I mean, it's worth remembering the last election in 2019, the one that Richard was referring to, that Boris Johnson won so overwhelmingly, was against a Labour Party led by a far-left radical called Jeremy Corbyn, who essentially wanted to renationalise. He was a very, very, very left-wing guy. And Keir Starmer came in and has completely transformed his party, ruthlessly, actually, and effectively transformed his party. And having transformed his party into a centre-left party, he is now determined to bring competence and kind of effective functioning of government to running the country. What his main priority is, and he's said it again and again, is to boost Britain's growth rate. British economy, unlike the US economy, has been barely growing. Productivity is very stagnant here. It's the single biggest problem the UK has. And the question is he going to be radical enough to do what needs to be done to really boost the British economy? And that's things like changing the planning laws so it's easier to build, infrastructure, it's easier to build houses, doing kind of fairly big structural things which require a degree of boldness and radicalism. And we've seen that in how Keir Starmer's transformed his party, but we haven't really seen it in how he hasn't really laid out a bold agenda. He's got bold aspirations. And the question now is he actually going to use this enormous majority he's got to do some of the really quite dramatic things that need to be done so that the UK sort of economy is kick-started and it grows faster again?
Hey there, MSNBC fans. I'm Luke Russert, and be sure to join me, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Lawrence O'Donnell, Steve Kornacki, Joy Reid, and many more September 7th in Brooklyn, MSNBC Live Democracy 2024. Click on the link for ticket information. We will see you there.